Hey, hello all. Thank you for all being here and welcome to the Index Time Magic Enhancing Data Processing session. So our agenda here will talk about the problems with the data and what methods or solutions we have to resolve that problem, and followed by the best practices and a small demo. Okay. So yes. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about what challenges we have with the data. Before starting with this data challenge, let me go back to my starting starting phase of the year. I mean, starting phase of when I started my IT career. So when I first started, we used to able to take all the data and ingest it. We used to have all this data throughout the organization. A lot of it would be on the on-premise environment and able to take all that data and have been at one central place. We would able to warehouse it. We would able to store it. We would able to mess with the data, and we had that type of capability during starting of my IT career. But over time, the data just kept on doubling, right? And after a while, especially when the cloud storage started, when the storage started becoming such a huge thing, there have been so many questions like what's our strategy, how we are duplicating all our data over all those places, right? Around the same time, we also had where our customers are asking like more questions like why I want to query from a different application. From a different application. Why can't I query directly through my data? And so on. Many questions are coming from the customers. When I first started, it's really easy. Like we had like concise use cases, concise users, concise data, and then it just started changing dramatically when the cloud storage comes into the picture. So now we are dealing with log metrics, traces. We are even dealing with same types of data. We are not dealing with any more same type of data before what we used to do, and we are doing different sort of things. Let me hello the other person. Mm, Okay, okay, thank you. Yeah. So now we are not dealing with the same type of data anymore. And also, we are doing all sorts of different things. We are now troubleshooting. We have to worry about the compliance. We are focused on different dashboards, reports, threat detections. We are all doing different things at the same time. So here the challenge is like we have exponential growth, and we have different types of data that are coming into the applications, and we have different use cases. Before we don't have those things. To manage all these things, we came up with a central control plane of for data management. That is this one. Yeah. So what we call is it's a control plane which manages the data at a central at one central place. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to give you freedom, choice, and flexibility, where um, literally you can just deal with your data. So we are going to talk about this a bit. The whole goal here is just like you might just want to ingest certain things. You might want to send things to certain places. We want to give you control, and that control and the power. So this can be done using this DMX, data management experience. So with what we can do with this data management experience, So mainly we can do like four things. We can filter it, mask, and route the data wherever you want to send it. And so that all those things you can see on the right hand side. After filtering, masking, and routing the data, we can send it to wherever the location we want. And then we can ingest whatever the data we want. No need to ingest everything. And then this is a central monitor and manage data pipelines. We define the pipelines. Based on that pipelines, the data will be ingested into the different data sources and different sources. And here we'll get greater speed and visibility. And the main thing is we can reduce the cost. Whatever we are filtering, routing, we are doing before we are injecting into the Splunk indexes. So we can save lots of money, and also we can have much visibility into the data that we need, and we can search the data at a greater speed. Okay. So when we are talking about it, we have number of tools behind the scenes and that we can do to do this. But so those different tools are ingest actions, ingest processor, edge processor, and ingest processor. So we have three different tools which do all the tools will do the same thing, but based on your environment, type of environment, we select whatever the tool that suits for us. Okay. Mhm. Okay. So now let's talk about all the three tools that I mentioned before. So as I mentioned, we have three separate distinct products, but they are all play really well together. If you want, we can use all these together, or whatever the works for you, you can use that. Okay, let me get some other person. Uh, okay, join. Okay, no worries. So all these three tools again, they are going to filter, mask, and write your data before indexing. That's a key because you're able to focus on reducing the cost, so that you can care about sorry, for the on-prem environment, you can reduce the cost. For cloud environment, you can reduce the or you can save on your CPUs. Okay, let's start with the ingest actions. Ingest actions is one that has been out for a while, from 8.0 version. It's been there. Uh, okay. When I work with some customers, they are using the ingest actions. So many of the customers are using ingest actions. So ingest actions, it's a UI preference. Like you don't need to define any props or transforms. So we just use the ingest actions from the UI. You don't need to go to the backend from the cluster master. No need to push all the props and transform configuration from backend. You can do it via from the UI using ingest actions. But there are some limitations for the ingest actions. That's why we came up with edge processor and ingest processor. So, and the other thing is, for ingest actions, there is no additional cost, because since you have your environment, you can do from heavy forwarder. We can do this ingest actions on the heavy forwarder or on the indexes. Okay. So even if your environment is on Splunk cloud, sorry, any AWS cloud or GCP cloud, you can do that. So it's just giving you ability to provide the props and transforms. We'll go with the demo for ingest actions as well as for ingest processor, so that you will get an idea. Okay, now let's change the page to edge processor and ingest processor. So these two uses, if you see here, these two tools uses SPL2. It's an SPL2 language. So we use those processing language to filter and mask the data. So and the other thing is, with edge processor, the only difference between these edge processor and ingest processor is edge processor, you need to maintain the infrastructure. Like we have the edge nodes between the Splunk indexer, I mean before the Splunk indexer. So you need to maintain that edge nodes. Here, when I say the edge processor, it means you are dealing the data at the edge of the node. Like before coming out of that particular server, we are dealing the data at the edge. So that's why we call as edge processor. And coming to the ingest processor, here we don't need to maintain any servers. Splunk will take care of it, everything. So for now, for the edge processor, we don't have any additional costs that Splunk is uh, doing right now. So in future, they might come with some additional cost for this one, but for now it is free because you are maintaining your edge nodes. Coming to the ingest processor, we have two types of ingest processors. One is a free version up to 500 GB. After crossing 500 GB of data, it costs like 0.3 cents per GB. So, and the other difference is with ingest processor, you can uh, convert the data into the metrics, which is not available in the edge processor right now. Okay, so that's about all these three solutions we have. Any questions? Okay. So, well, so when we can use these three solutions, because for example, if you look at Cisco or Palo Alto data, we have lots of data because we bring these Cisco and Palo Alto logs through the syslog, right? So when you bring to the syslog will add a time prefix to the data, and then it will send to the indexes, right? So we don't need those prefix timestamps because that syslog server attached, right? So we don't, because of that, we are having we need to buy more license and storage too, right? So that's the reason using this uh, you know um, one of the solutions, we can use one of the solutions and get rid of that particular timestamp. And also when we onboard the data from the Kubernetes, we get lots of unnecessary data that we don't get any value out of it. So we can filter those data also here. And for especially for the Windows systems, when we onboard the system and application data, we have lots of unwanted data. Apart from login success, login failure, we will get other data that is written, and we are pulling that one. So to eliminate those data, because when you have lots of data, it's hard to pull the actual data that we need. So that's the reason we are using these control panel or these three solutions to chop off the data that we don't need. So, and also it will convert complex data into metrics, which you can search results in a faster way. And we can do second, let me admit all. Yeah, yeah, I admitted other person. Yeah. So, and also we can mask some sensitive data related to SSNs or credit card information. And other piece here is we can route the data. If you're not using all the data, we can route that data to the some S3 bucket or Amazon S3 bucket or a different low storage index. So those are the potential use cases with these three solutions. So before going to the yeah, let's go with the best practices, and then um, we can do a small demo. So here, just a couple of things to be thoughtful and mindful as you are getting started with one of these products. So when we say modifying the data before injection can break existing knowledge objects. So be very deliberate and through in evaluating the changes to the data, and avoid data duplication to overlap pipeline partitions. I will show you what is that, and prevent unwanted data loss by always specifying a default destination, because if you don't mention a default destination, all the unprocessed data will be dropped. So always make sure specify a default destination. And naming convention can be extremely helpful. And so why and so that's the way, again, it is just really clear that you're not breaking any data, and that you don't have any confusion about what's your going, and then you don't want to have any overlapping pipelines partitions. So if you mention a clear naming convention, so that you can know, okay, this pipeline is doing this thing, so it won't overlap with other pipelines. All those things happen. So those are the best practices. And then now let's go to a demo. So in the demo, I will show you escape. Yeah. You guys still see my screen, right? Okay. So here we have the Splunk on-prem instance. So since we don't have the Splunk cloud, we are using the ingest actions. Do you guys able to see my screen? Dheeraj, Jonathan, anyone? You can see my screen, right?
Yes, I can see the screen.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So here what we are trying to do here is using the ingest actions, we are trying to eliminate the data that is older than 90 days, and eliminating the data that has debug information, and then sending the transaction data, like we have the account number with all the 16 digits or something. We are sending that 16 digits number to a restricted index, and we are mask it all the first 14 or 12 digits, and then sending the all last four digits to a normal index. So how we do that using the ingest actions is create a new rule set. And here I'm just using a sample data set that I have. I'm here selecting the user group or user group test. Okay. Okay. And then I just want to add the data. Okay. You see the data here, right? So some data is from 19, some data is from 25, and some data is from 2023. So here what I want to do here is I want to eliminate the data that is greater than 90 days. So for that, I want to add a rule, and I want to use the eval expression. And here I'm using the underscore time less than 90 days. So here I am removing the data that is greater than 90 days, and I'm doing apply. So if you see here, all this data is got eliminated because this data is not in the last 90 days, right? And then I want here, if you see here, there is a debug transaction. So I don't want this data to be ingested. So now I want to add another rule with regular expression, and then I add a regular expression that eliminates this data. So here, what I'm using here is regex 101. I'm using to eliminate this debug data. So and apply, and if you see here, these two events are related to the debug. So I'm eliminating these two events. So now you got only two events sending the data. Now what we want to do is, here we have the entire card number, right? So I want to have the raw data. So I just want to set index, and I'm sending it to the restricted index. Okay, apply. When I apply here, you get this restricted index. Okay, now I want to send to a destination. So here I am selecting the default destination. Okay, now I want to send the data, again, this data to a regular index. Okay, now I want to set index, and I want to do a regular normal index or regular index. Regular index, and then apply. Okay, why it's saying no results? Okay. Oh, yeah. So I just want to clone it because here we are sending restricted. We are sending the raw data to the restricted index, and again we want to implement the other rule, right? So I just want to clone it, and then I want to apply it. So now apply, yeah. And now I implemented this. Now I got regular index. Now, before sending to the regular index, what I need to do is I need to mask this data, right? So for that, I'm using this mask regular expression, and I want to replace the card number of first two groups with 1, 2, 3 with 1, 2, 3. Do you see? Now it's sending the data with masking all the prefix numbers. Just it's showing only the last 4 digits, and it's sending to the regular index. And if you see here, if you click on here, it will show how much size you are reducing. If you see here, we are sending 1.8 KB, and the only outcome is 0.2 KB, which is 80 in percentage data we are reducing, and the event count we are reducing by 88 percentage. Okay, so this all things you are done using the UI, right? So now you want to see how this is written in the background. In the background means in the CLI with props and transforms. You can go to the preview config. Here you can see this is how it writes in the background. What are the transforms that I configured here using eval and regex. All those things, or whatever the things are written in the transforms, it's calling here in the props.conf. Okay, this is one way. And if you want to do this via UI, you can see here, and you can see using this post process search. You can see this is how it is written from the UI. So these are the 3 ways you can filter the data. I mean, you can do directly by ingest actions, which is a simpler way instead of writing from the backend using the props and transforms. Did you get this point? Are you guys using these ingest actions, Jonathan or Andy or anyone? Okay. Hope if you are not using, try to use this one so that um, you can eliminate the unnecessary data that you don't need.
It's very nice. I had trouble finding the unmute button. Sorry,
Okay, but
but
did
I'm
you?
following along. Yes.
Yeah, which version you are using? Are you using Splunk on-prem or Splunk Cloud?
I'm using the community version, I believe. So I don't actually own that. I just like went on and got the free trial version and it's been learning it essentially.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, then, yeah. Try to use that so that you can eliminate the unnecessary data. But this is for on-prem customers. But if you guys are, using Splunk Cloud, let me show you what things we can do here. As I showed before, this is the control plane. Which if you are in Splunk Cloud, you can, and if you don't want to maintain the infrastructure on from your end, Splunk maintains the infrastructure, and you can use the ingest processor to reduce the data. So here I will give you a simple example here. Okay, so here, what I'm trying to do is you can use the edge processor or the ingest processor. Edge processor means you need to maintain the infrastructure from your end. If you don't want to maintain, you want to go for ingest processor. Okay, so here, now first you need to create a pipelines. Usually when you go to the data management page, it shows all the things, what are the capabilities they have. It will show you the training videos and what's new here, everything, the documentation, everything will be shown here. So, and you can monitor your system, how the data is flowing, everything you can take a look here. Okay, so now let's create a simple pipeline here and go to the new pipeline. So we want to create an ingest processor pipeline. Okay, okay, ingest processor pipeline we created. We just, and then so here we can go with here they created some you know templates. So because most of the customers will onboard the Cisco data or Syslog data or Palo Alto. So we can go with these templates, or we can go with and create a new template, or go with the blank pipeline. So here I'm going with a blank pipeline. Go next. So here what I'm trying to do is I want to partition here with a field called source, which is equal to Palo Alto, and apply. Okay, so wait a minute. I did other person here. Yeah. Okay, so here I looking for the source equals to Palo Alto. Okay, and then click on next. And I just want to use a sample data set. So it's Palo Alto, and apply, and click on next. So here the Splunk indexer. So here it's selected metrics destination. So we are not converting any events into the metrics. So we are just want to skip it. So just skip it, and select a destination. We just want to select a default destination, which goes to the indexes, and click on done. And when you play this button, you can see here every time it starts with the pipeline and from source. and it goes to the destination. So right now we are not doing any, massaging to the data here. So now what I need to do here is I want to, remove few things from this data. So for that, I already prepared the command here. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is, so here I'm adding two functions here. One is for removing, one second. Yeah, for one is for removing the readable timestamp, because as I said at the starting, this prefix timestamps adds by the syslog server. So we don't want that timestamp to be added to the data. And then we are extracting some fields that are needed for our data, and then we are also eliminating some event types that are related to correlation, hip match, and then system. So these things we don't need. This data we don't need for the for our use case. So just we are writing this eval command or where command, and we are eliminating that one. Okay, and if you apply here, you can see how the data is written and to which index we are written here. You are mentioning that index also here to the security path index. So you can see the event types only config, traffic, thread, anything but not correlation, hit match, and system. Okay. So now we want to save this pipeline, because we did because here we define everything where should this data goes, and what are the things it needs to be done, everything mentioned here in the pipeline, and we are saving that pipeline. So I just want to give user group and save. Yeah, pipeline save. Yes, apply. Now we want to apply this pipeline. So you can check those things in the pipeline section, or in this processor also you can check that. Just give few minutes so that it will show how much inbound we have, how much outbound we have. And also we can go to the home page of our search head, and we can search using our index. Skip to index equal to security path index in the last 15 minutes. And if you see before, for raw data, we have this, the timestamp, but now we don't have that. And also, if you see even subtypes, not even type, yeah, we don't have anything hip match or anything. Do you see that? And if you see here, let me refresh this page. Um, Yeah, if you see here, you can see how much data we are sending inbound, how much outbound data we have. Everything will be shown here. Like how I showed for the ingest actions. Yes, you see here, you can check the data volume and the number of events it got reduced. Everything will be shown here. Any questions here?
No, sir.
And I just want to send the raw data also so that we can search here. So let's say here we want to search for hit match. Did we get any results? No, right? So let me do one other thing. Let me create another pipeline. Okay. Create a new pipeline for ingest processor and applying pipeline. Next. And partition field source equal to what is this for this one. Yeah, source equal to Anchor. Apply. Next. Capture, paste the sample data. And apply. And now I don't want to mask anything here. So we don't want to convert the data into metrics. So we're just skipping it and select the destination, indexer, and then default, click on done. And now what we are trying to do is we need to add it to which index we are sending it, right? So from source, just we are adding this one and play it. And here you will see that index name here and save pipeline. You can call as a raw pipeline. Cisco. Sorry, Palo Alto. Palo Alto pipeline and save and apply. So if you see the index name is Palo Alto Raw. All right. So now if you go here and if you check for Palo Alto Raw and check for hit match, see we have two events. So we are eliminating those two events in the security path index. So if you see here the pipelines. Yeah, if you can see here how much volume it's reducing, everything will be shown here. I got it. So this is how we use ingest actions, edge processor, and and didn't go on through the edge processor, but it's the same way. But how we transform, mask, and route the data using ingest processor and edge, ingest actions. Any questions? Let me stop recording.